on behalf of Ashoka UK. And as I look out around this room, actually, we have some of our original trustees and supporters from back then still with us here. So Silla and Sue and Michael is around, I believe, as well. So that's really, really extraordinary. So 10 years ago, we came to you with a crazy idea, which was that there's a group of people called social entrepreneurs who can make an extraordinary change in the world. And that was a concept that really didn't exist much at that time. And you backed us and helped us with that idea. And we said we wanted to take the money and go and find brilliant people and support them, give them stipends, help them grow, help them scale and move across the country. And 10 years later, Ashoka has managed to support more than 1,000 social entrepreneurs around the world in 70 countries, including 30 who are active here in the UK and 2 who are speaking tonight. So on behalf of Ashoka and all of our fellows, thank you so much indeed.
I'm representing Crissy Townsend, who's sadly indisposed tonight and isn't able to be here. I'm really sorry that I'm not Crissy, as she's an extraordinary person and a lot more fun than I am. She went to the School for Social Entrepreneurs in 2002, sponsored by TFN. At that time, she was unable to read and write, but determined to regenerate the Teviot housing estate, which was cut off by the dual carriageway, which runs to the north of the Blackwall Tunnel, and then neglected by successive councils. Starting by trying to get a bus route through the estate, and moving on to employment skills, an employment agency, countless other activities, football, languages, anything you can think of, and her latest achievement, a Docklands-like railway station built in the estate. She reckons she's raised at least £10 million for the estate and given the whole place a new sense of hope. And she attributes a great part of her success to her time at the School of Social Entrepreneurs, funded by TFN.
I want to tell you all what a young lady called Yasmin has achieved since TFN funded Friendship Works in 2004. Yasmin was referred when she was 9 years old because of her Celtic home life. And we found Yasmin a mentor called Lucy, and they started meeting up together each week, exploring London, baking cakes at Lucy's house and just meeting up and chatting together. Yasmin's behaviour can be difficult to manage at times, but 6 years ago, her school report said she was settling down and beginning to be able to focus on lessons. And last year, Yasmin turned 16 and is now at college studying childcare. Since TFN funded us in 2004, a girl has become an adult and a special friendship has blossomed. Many children who grow up in London without the adult support they need, and TFN has helped us to help young people be the best they can be with the adult support that they deserve. Thank you for that.
There's this guy called Beatrice, and he is a real local hero. He's a real hero. He's a real engineer without borders. And he lives in the Didian tribal community in Nigeria, which is a beautiful and challenging landscape. There's no road access to his tribe, and TFN's impact there has been in the homestead communities where a network of culverts has been funded and built. And people can now get around their community in the rainy season. Beatrice has learned how to survey, to build, and to maintain culverts, and has trained other people to do the same. We have learned as an organisation about the need for humility in taking on such challenging projects. What Beatrice has achieved is truly inspiring. He's the chairman of the development organisation. He's doing some really interesting projects now. The story of international development is a story of unintended consequences, and among these, we bought a truck to move sand around for the culverts. It became an ambulance. There are children alive today that wouldn't be alive if it hadn't been for TFN. Thank you very much.
In 2005, Dhaka, a Kenyan peace builder, asked Peace Direct for money to go to the Ethiopian border and mediate in a conflict where 60 people had already died. This made us think that she needed money for a rapid response fund, so she'd have money to go wherever she was needed. TFN funded that, and in 2006, she was called to Nakuru in the Rift Valley, where a land conflict had gone very badly wrong. And as a result of her mediation and the money she left behind for the local mediators, Nakuru was peaceful until the 2007 election-related violence. In 2009, the government of Kenya took on the idea of the Rapid Response Fund. In that same evening, someone stepped forward to fund Peace Direct's first coordinator in Sudan, work which is now needed more than ever. Thank you so much, Tiffin.
We came to the funding network 4 years into our work as Iraq Body Count, recording civilian casualties of the Iraq War. We proposed a new project that would ultimately make it an international legal requirement for all casualties of armed violence throughout the world to be properly recorded, identified, and publicly acknowledged. We knew it would be a long road to that goal, requiring us to win the support of governments and global institutions. Well, now known as the Every Casualty Programme based at Oxford Research Group, we received major funding from the foreign ministries of Switzerland, Germany, and Norway, as well as the United States Congress with the US Institute for Peace. A more direct measure of our progress is that after presentations and lobbying in New York City by our team, language reflecting our project has begun to appear in United Nations statements, a significant milestone towards a new convention for the recording of casualties.
Cecily's Fund enabled 175 AIDS orphans to attend secondary school for a year in Zambia's Copperbelt region. The funding paid for school fees, books, uniforms and shoes. Without Tiffin's support, these children wouldn't have gone to secondary school for lack of uniform or because they simply couldn't afford it. Tiffin's helped to give these children hope for a better future. The Youth Funding Network also supported 12 peer health educators for a term, training school leaders to go back to their schools to hold workshops in HIV and health education. And it was their workshops that reached 7,000 children, teaching them about health education and offering them hope to stay healthy and HIV-free. Today, Cecily's Fund directly supports with financial, emotional and practical assistance to over 8,000 orphans. Tiffin got us to the point where we were just at the cusp between kitchen table organisation and taking that step change up to a larger organisation. And it's with Tiffin's support that we're now able to boast that we are the largest non-government supporter of education in Zambia. So thank you very much, Tiffin.
TFN came to you with the ridiculously ambitious plan of creating a mainstream movement of people cutting carbon by 10% in a year. Since then, that vision has become a global coalition of carbon cutters, with coverage everywhere from Cosmo magazine to primetime Dutch TV. Carbon cutting commitments in the UK alone total more than 1 million tonnes of CO2. Everyone from Tottenham Hotspur to the UK government is showing 10% is more than doable. And a crowdfunding project has allowed communities to invest over £75,000 into solar for their schools. All of this was made possible with Tiffin community support. Thanks to you, our tiny team in Camden have made huge achievements globally, with more exciting things in the pipeline. Climate change sucks. Tiffin and 1010 working together to stop it certainly doesn't. Thank you.
So when I stood in front of you a couple of years ago, the concept of 38 degrees of a people-powered community of thousands and thousands of British citizens who'd come together to decide what campaigns they wanted to run and work together to make the world a better place. It was a promising idea, but we were within a few months of running out of cash. Over those last 2 years, we've grown to now become a community of over 1 million British citizens whose achievements include working together to persuade the government not to sell off England's publicly owned forests that millions of us are going to enjoy every year from now on, able to walk in, able to access whether we're disabled or able-bodied, wherever we live around the country. Tiffin gave us 3 things. You gave us money at a time when we really needed it, but you also gave us a vote of confidence, which encouraged other funders to step up. And you also gave us contacts, which we made on the night, which led to us reaching other donors. So thank you so much for what you do. I think it's brilliant. You're brave enough to support projects and get other donors to step up afterwards. So please keep doing it for at least another 10 years, because it really is so valuable.
So the Hackney Pirates stood in said that we could do that by giving them one-to-one attention from an adult who cares, because it's the most powerful thing in the world, by giving them the chance to work on real stuff that we publish, like websites and books and CDs, because people care more about that, and by doing it in an unconventional learning environment. And by that, we mean we don't talk about learning, we talk about buccaneering. Since then, we've delivered over 4,000 hours of one-to-one attention to children who really need it. 85% of the teachers who we work with say that they notice a difference within just one term. 100% of the parents say that they concretely notice a difference in their child's attitude and attainment. And just to give you a taste of what the young pirates think, one of them said, Sal, it makes me be creative and imaginative and full of wow. You funded us when we didn't really exist yet as an organisation. You were our first ever real funder, and you funded our first ever staff member. So you are creative and imaginative and full of wow.